Some friends and I were in the mood for a Criterion Collection film recently, and we ended up watching Some Like It Hot. It's a comedy directed by Billy Wilder, starring Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon. Set in the Prohibition era, we follow musicians Joe and Jerry. They witness gang members getting gunned down by mob boss Spats Colombo and his men, who in turn try to silence our main characters. Seeking to escape, Joe and Jerry disguise themselves as women and join an all-girls band to escape to Florida. They both come across a singer named Sugar, and both become enamored by her, though Joe decides to try and woo her, hiding behind a second disguise as Millionaire Junior. Wacky scenarios incur, all with a number of comedic moments, romance, and some gangster action. I want to start off making a weird compliment to the film. I am absolutely in love with a lot of the names here. Spats Colombo, Sugar Cane, Osgood, and a few more. While I haven't watched a ton of gangster films, I have seen quite a few James Bond films and love the goofy names in those. The names in this movie sound like they are from a Bond film, or even something like Dick Tracy. But back to Some Like It Hot. I'm very surprised this film got made. With all the types of censorship at the time, I can't imagine how the filmmakers were able to get away with the subject matter of men basically cross-dressing, sexual themes, and homosexual romance. So I decided to look it up. For those who don't know, there was a time when a set of rules were in place on what could and could not be shown in American motion pictures. This was known as the Hays Code. Things that could not be shown consisted of drugs, sex, and bad language. At the time the film was being made, the Hays Code was losing its power, so that made it easier for the filmmakers to get away with a lot. In fact, some people have cited that this is how the Hays Code met its end. The actors, specifically the main three, Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon, do an excellent job. I love the fast, witty dialogue between Curtis and Lemmon, as they bounce off each other in rapid fire. The two of them remind me very much of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, in terms of how they both get along and work against each other at the same time. Despite the trouble Monroe had behind the scenes, such as forgetting lines and trying to influence the production, I believe she did a great job and worked very well alongside her co-stars. She has a bubbly innocence to her in this role, and I was surprised to learn she did her own singing. I assumed she would have had someone do it for her, but nope, it is indeed Monroe, and she sings beautifully. A very special shout out to go to Joe E. Brown as Osgood, the quirky older rich man who is madly in love with Lemon's female persona. He's so entertaining to watch, from his obsessive nature, giant grin, and hilarious lines. In fact, he has the ending line in the film, which is by far the funniest one. I won't spoil what he says, but my fellow film fans out there probably already know what it is. While the film is not a musical, there are musical elements. Curtis and Lemmon play musicians. The ladies in the film are part of a band. And there are songs. I do wonder why it was not made as an all-out musical, but in terms of how it's presented in the finished product, it exceeds expectations. Plus, two musicals based on the film did eventually come out. One in 1972, the other in 2022. Some Like It Hot is an outright wonderful comedy with elements of gangster films as well as musicals. It has a wildly entertaining cast, fun musical numbers, outright hysterical comedy, and it pushes the boundaries of what could and could not be shown on film at the time. I'm so glad it made it to the Criterion Collection, a true testament to how important it is to film history, and it does help that it's just an overall great film that is worth everyone's attention.